that's how you distribute your number of pieces for skirts. That's one part of the class. And the other one we want to check now is how to distribute the flares. Okay, first off, we must understand that our standard of flare is related to the person's hip. We consider multiplying the person's hip by a certain value ranging from 1 to 3.5. Are you there? 4.5 there, sir? Yes, to 4 point. There's 6, but depending on the size of flare you want. Okay, so if we want to consider, say, the value 2.5, this thing 2.5 is for moderate flare. Okay, and these hips was, say, 40. Okay, the total flare, we want it to be, we want the total flare to be moderate. So multiply the hips. This is hips by 2.5. That will give us 100 inch. Okay. Now, another thing again, we've agreed that there should be more flares at the back compared to the front. And it should be in the ratio it should be in the ratio 8:5.
This is constant.
This is an advice, not a constant. That you must not take, but it will give you a good skirt. It's your choice. Now left for you to follow the master's advice. Do you get? So, if the front will take 5 portions of the 13 portions we have of the 100 inch, it becomes 500/13 for the front. Similarly, the back will take 800/13. You were saying?
So this is 5. This is 5 times 100/13.
Yes.
Okay. Not 5 times divided by 13 times 100.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Whether you do 5 times 100/13 or you do 5/13 times 100, it's the same. You are doing mathematically. You are doing the same thing. You get. So, no extra phone. We need a calculator.
You say 800/13.
Okay, because the back is 8/13 times 100. 8 times 100/13. So, 800 divided by 13 will give us 61, while 500 divided by 13 will give us 38.4. The other one 61 point something. Okay. So we can basically just use 38 and 62. So the total front now will be 38 inch, the flare, while total back will be 62 inch. Good. So now the question, what you will now resolve is, having solved the fact that the flare for the front will be 38 inch in total, how many pieces are in front? 4 pieces. We debunk 6 pieces generally in infinite. So for 8 pieces skirt, 4 pieces will be in front. So we'll now carry this 38 and divide it by 4, so that each piece will have 9.5. Are we together? 9.5. Then 62 divided by 4, that's for the back, will now give us what? 2. No, 1 here. Remainder 2 bar. 20 divided by 4 is 6. Remainder something. Okay, 4 times 6. Okay, no, it's 5. It's 5 remainder 2. 15.5. Are we together? Did you just get what I did? Okay, let me come again. From our ratio, we're able to establish that the front piece should carry a total of 38 inch. And the front piece is 4. So each piece will now be 9.5 inch. That's for the front. Then for the back, we say the total back should be what? 62. So each piece for the 4 back will now be what? 15.5. So this is the front. For the 8-piece skirts, you get your fabric. This is for the one of the center fronts. Get the length of the skirt, which will end here. I was supposed to explain this before making this video. This video will be long. Now you determine, this is hips, this is high thigh, this is low thigh. The flare can start above the low thigh. Then we now said that for the front, each flare will be 9.5 inch plus 1. That's 10.5 for sewing allowance.
1 inch, no half.
1, half. Half will be on one side, half will be on the other side. So your flare can come from here to here, from here to here, then you can curve this small. Then you add the sewing allowance. And you cut. Are we together? This one now, you cut 2 pieces. For the center front pieces. Then you come to the, where's the side front?
Do you want to say
To the side front. You can place it, give space. The lens should end somewhere here. Then the flare size, you now measure it, that same 10.5. The flare is supposed to start from somewhere here. You now draw the flare and also draw the flare. Then add your half-inch sewing allowance. Okay? So by the time you add this flare, blah, 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 4 of them, you will get your total of 38 inch. You repeat the same procedure for the back. Okay? 2 pieces of the back are identical. The other 2 are identical. Like these 2 are identical. You're cutting 2 here. This one you're cutting 2. Same thing will happen to the back. But now, instead of using 10.5 that you use for the front for the back, you use 16.5. You add half inch for the sewing allowances. Then by the time you total everything up, your flare should be around 100 inches. Do you understand? Do you understand? So to cap this up, let's say for instance you agree to use a wide flare, or let's say full flare, for instance, that you are to multiply the hips by 4.5, and this hips was 40, right? So it will give us plus 180 inches. Is it correct? 4.5 times 40. It should be 180 now. 4.5 times 40. If you carry this 0 here, it will give you 45 times 4. This is 16. 16. Sorry, this 20 is supposed to come up first, so it will give us 180. And we are to redistribute the flare according to the ratios. According to the ratios, what? 5/13 times 180, and what? 8/13 times 180. That's for the back, and this is for the front, right? So by the time you do that, calculator, you get 5/13 times 180. The front will now become 69.2, which we can approximately use 70. You can just use 70. And if the front is 70, the back will be 180 minus 70, which is 110. Yes. It's 110 now. Hmm? You've not gotten it?
What have you minus?
Instead of doing this maths,
Okay.
if you do this math, you will get 110 points. Sorry, 111.8. But we approximated this to 70, which will, thank you, ma, which will now drop this to 110. That's another way. If you get one, subtract it from the total, you get the other one. You don't get?
I get, but we'll do this one.
Which one?
This one.
You do all these.
I'll do all the math.
It's all right. This one is still mass. So, if the front is approximated to 70, each of the flare will be 70 divided by 4. And if the back is approximated to 110, each of the flare will be what? 110 divided by 4. So, this will be 70 divided by 4 is 130. 15 divided by 4 is another 7. Or 7.25. I'll be 7.5. 1. No. 30. 30 divided by 4. 15. 15 divided by 2, 7.5. This is 0.5. Then 110 divided by 4 will give us what? 55 over 2, which is what? 25.5. So the back flare each will be 25.5, while the front will be, each will be 17.5. If you are using
Why?
a full flare. Full is the 4.5. Do you understand?
So you must always use 8 or 5. 8 and 5 to divide.
Advisably. See, there are tailors that make all the flares equal, both front and back. So that one, you don't need to be using 8 and 5. Once you get your total, which here is 180, what you now do is divide it by what? 8. Then each flare will be that number. Do you understand? If you divide by 8, you will get the average of these two, which will drop to about 18 divided by 18 divided by 8 is 2. Remainder 2. 20 divided by 8 is 2 points. Yes. So each of the flare will be 22 points something. 20 divided by 8 is
2.2.
2. It will remain 4. Add 0 to that 4. Divided by 8. You will get 5. So it's 2.5. So it's between 2.5. Each flare will now be 22.5. All equal. But the question now is, what is the disadvantage of having all the flares equal? I leave that for you to find out.
I'm going to accept the finish.
What is the disadvantage?
Not
And
flared way is supposed to flare. It will look more flared if the back is. The back is more flared.
another question. All right. In the absence of no questions, we're done with the class about flare for skirt.